taking off like a Boeing. If the volume spikes, then it's time to trade. Mighty 90 setting up, it's time to get paid. Navigation trading on the mic, time to get focused. We don't need any indicator, hocus pocus. It's all about the price, just watch it move. Manage your risks so you don't lose. First hour of trading is all we need. Focus on the patience and forget about greed.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to today's day trading live stream. May the 4th be with you. Monday, May 4th, 2026. S&P futures down 8, NASDAQ up 19, Russell's down 6, and the Dow is down 184. Gold's down 1.5%, silver's down almost 3.5%. Notes and bonds down about 0.25%, 10-year yield up over 0.5%. Oil is up 0.75, natty gas up 1.5%, soybeans green, wheat and corn red, euro and the pound both down about 0.25%, and Bitcoin up 0.5%. VIX getting a little Monday bump up almost 4%, currently at 17.65. I've already heard May the 4th be with you 4 times this morning. It's already starting to annoy me, so I had to just drop it on you guys one time before I let it go for the day. Good morning, everyone. S&P chopping just below previous day low and previous day close. NASDAQ just slightly green. Apologize for my little cough I have today. As far as individual stock movers, GME is down 4%, FedEx down 4%, AVGO, Microsoft a little bit red. Biggest up movers, a lot of cryptos. Circle up 7%, Coinbase up 4%, Nebius is up 3.5%, MU is up 3%, SanDisk up 3%, Oracle up 3%, PLTR up 2.5%. PLTR has earnings after the bell today. MSTR is up 2%. So I'll definitely have a little bit of a focus on crypto stocks here on the long side if they continue to show some strength. Got the opening bell in about 20 seconds. Expected range in SPX looks like it's a little over 34. I will be doing a 3-4. There's the opening bell. I'll be doing a 3-4 double calendar at the open with the intent to transform it. Oh, got filled. Okay. I'm in. Let me get that posted. Also be doing a 1 DTE Iron Condor. You guys hear me okay? No? Nobody? Uh-oh. It looks like everybody's good. Except for General Zod. Do you hear me now? Articulate? You guys good? Just posted a DCTM, the 3-4 DTE. My 1 DTE should fire here in about 20 seconds. Audio's good on my end. Got AMD rejected, trying to go green. There is my 1 DTE just fired. NASDAQ dipping into the red. Circle pushing higher. Coinbase pushing higher. Hood pushing higher. Bitcoin is just kind of sitting there right at previous day high. Hood is pushing above pre-market highs. I'm going to load up some calls in Hood onto my watch list. It would be the 4 DTE, and I would trade the 78s. Kind of blasted through pre-market highs. See if it gives us a little pause or pullback. Coinbase also pushing up to pre-market highs, almost up to overnight highs. MU's acting strong. It's up 5%. AMD's going the other way. MU, I'm going to load up some 575 calls. Hood, still not much of a pullback. Tesla's red, Nvidia's popping. Amazon's popping. MU and Hood just kind of look like they don't want to give us an entry. They're just going to keep going. Now, Bitcoin's pushing up a little above its previous day high. MU just pushed a new high. So did Hood. PLTR bouncing. Remember, PLTR has earnings after the bell, so those premiums are going to be pretty juiced. Don't really move that great for day trading. So AMD's super weak, just broke through pre-market lows. I'm going to load up some AMD puts. I would use the 350s. Oh, AMD has earnings this week as well. Those are juiced as well. MU new highs. Yeah, there goes MU popping. Kind of had that look in its eye. Amazon kind of rejecting previous day high. Pausing right below it anyway. Tesla, big bounce back. Trying to go green. A lot of chop so far. S&P still within its first 5-minute range. Tesla trying to go to highs of day. Nvidia kind of rejected. Nvidia's little dip getting bought back up. Netflix weak. Tesla through highs. NASDAQ back in the green. really want to see SPY break out of this consolidation area before I get too excited about taking anything. Already seen a nice little drop in the ratio on the 3-4 from the open. Seen a little bit of profit on that one already. One DTE is already up 10%. Russell acting a little weaker than the S&P and NASDAQ. Microsoft popping back up, new highs. Tesla still extending. Nvidia kind of rejecting at that same level again, right around that 201.70-ish. Cryptos are pulling back. Hood's pulling back to that pre-market high level. Let's see if we get any kind of reaction here. I've still got my 78 Hood calls loaded up. MSTR dropped back below previous day high. Tesla dipped, getting back up. Microsoft staying strong. I'm going to look at some of the 2-day calls on Microsoft 420s. I'm going to take some Microsoft calls here. 420 calls, 2 DTE, right off of a previous day high. I got filled at 350. First profit target 410. Abash, can you hear me? Articulate, can you hear me? A couple people can't. I'm gonna go ahead and restart. Hit 410 on Microsoft. All right, back up. Hopefully that fixed it. I know sometimes it works for most people, but if it doesn't work for a couple people, then sometimes I have to reset on my end. So, all right, so I hit first profit target in Microsoft at 450, or excuse me, 410. It's trading up to about 450 now. I put another profit target at 480. Ratio, I'm not sure what you're talking about, Dark Avenger. I've taken a 1 DTE and a 3-4 DTE double calendar, a 1 DTE Iron Condor and a 3-4 double calendar this morning. Yeah, I've allocated all my calendar exposure into the DC time machines. So I did a 3-4 double calendar that I'll try to transform. Microsoft's still pushing. Here's 480. The way the 3-4 double calendar is working this morning, I assume the 3-4 put calendar would be printing nicely. Tesla kind of rejecting back down near unchanged. NVIDIA couldn't hold. It rejected twice. Yeah, AMD staying weak. Nice rejection off pre-market lows, down below previous day low now. Oracle staying strong. SMH is just super choppy. Apple weak. S&P trying to go green. Russell trying to go green. MU continuing to pump new highs. It's up over almost 8.5% now. Microsoft, a little pullback. See how it reacts here. I may add a little bit. Hood is holding at its pre-market high right now. Strong early, pulled back. It's just kind of bouncing around that pre-market high. All right, Microsoft has to hold here. Tesla bouncing, staying green. S&P, NASDAQ doing absolutely nothing. MU might reach 1,000 today, Watson. Just not careful. All right, Microsoft is still dipping. I'm going to need to see a pop here quickly. Otherwise, I'll just cut my remaining runners. I've already hit 2 profit targets. I've got 3 lots left. IWM popping. Little pop pop. All right, I'm going to cut the rest of my Microsoft. Filled at 284 on those.
Order filled.
So nice winner. S&P just can't break through that previous day low, previous day close resistance that it kept hitting pre-market. But Russell looks like it's wanting to go somewhere. NVIDIA is red now. AVGO back in the red. I'm going to put a transformer order on that 3-4, but only on 6 of my 12 contracts. Profits are coming in a little quickly, so I want to try to get more out of it if it allows. I mean, if it would be so kind, Dark Avenger, you know. Profits coming in quick. Sometimes they will continue to come in. I'm just asking for nice, you know, just SPX to be nice to me today. If it'll allow. If it would allow me some additional profits, that would be nice. All right, S&P trying to go green again. IWM trying to make its way up to overnight highs. AMD finally starting to bounce. Hood still holding pre-market high. Bitcoin kind of rejected previous day high. I'm going to load up some IWM 0 DTE calls. I would trade the 280s. If I do it. Yeah, IWM popping right back up. I'm also still watching Hood. I've still got my 78 calls in Hood loaded. I want to see if it's going to. I want to see a little Momo off of that pre-market high. No MU calls. I really wanted to be in it, but it just never gave me an entry that I liked. Microsoft still rejecting. Bitcoin still rejecting. MSTR pushed below previous day high, and then it's tried to bounce back above it 3 times and getting rejected. MSTR looks like it wants to go lower. Watson, if you want in. I know how you love to short MSTR. Hoods. Let's see what Hood does here. I mean, I'm kind of talking myself into shorting MSTR. Big banks are weak. I think banks definitely reflecting that the yield going higher, Tony. Hood no longer holding pre-market high. IWM still holding previous day high. Tesla kind of rolling over. I'm going to take some 175 MSTR puts here. 175 MSTR puts on this little trend line break to the downside. Bitcoin's getting weaker.
Order cancelled.
See if we can't get down to pre-market lows or beyond.
Order filled. Order cancelled.
We've got a little room to add if we can still just stay holding under previous day high. Little dip. Tesla back in the red. Put an order at 560 in MSTR in case it drops down near pre-market lows. IWM had a little dip but popped right back up. Starting to break lower, new lows of day in MSTR. Big banks putting in new lows. S&P rejected, trying to go green again. Even MU taking a pause. I'll be back in 1 minute. Yeah, MSTR kind of popped back up after ticking through the lows. What I'd really like it to do is push back up to that previous day high level. I'll add some and then it reject again. That would be ideal scenario. Ooh. S&P popped right back up, going green again. All right, let's see if MSTR can hold again. Hold and reject. Bitcoin bouncing aggressively, though. Might have to just cut this one. We'll see what it does here. IWM back up. MSTR, you looked so promising 5 minutes ago. What happened? What happened? You could have been somebody. I've got my order ready to cut. Just giving it a minute to see if it gets any kind of reaction lower here. Bitcoin looking strong. Got less than a minute left on this bar. It's pushing though. All right, I'm going to cut. Out at 442. Made 992 on Microsoft, minus 640 on MSTR. So still a few hundred green, but gave a little back on that. S&P now pushing. Hood kind of popped back up and reclaimed pre-market high. Bitcoin can break out of that previous day high area where it's kind of getting pushed back down. I'm watching the 78 calls in Hood. I'm going to take the Hood calls. Markets seem to be getting stronger. Bitcoin stronger. I'm in at $1.74. See if Hood can get back up to highs of day and beyond here. Cryptos are kind of the strongest sector here. I mean, Circle's up 13%. MSTR is still up 2. Coin is up 5. First profit target in Hood at $2. IWM new all-time highs. Intraday and pre-market, Watson. I should clarify. AMD is just getting beat down. It rejected pre-market lows again. Big flush. Had a couple chances at pre-market low puts on AMD. I had them loaded, but did not take.
Order partially filled. Order filled.
All right, Hood getting a little Momo coming. Need Bitcoin to break out of this previous day high area. MU still near highs. AVGO staying red. Intel staying red. SMH back down near unchanged. MU's carrying the weight for the chips. Microsoft popping back up. Let's see what's NVIDIA doing. Yeah, NVIDIA back in the red. Big bounce in Netflix. There we go, Hood. Hood's up to, options are up to about $1.93. My profit target's at $2, which is just below, or it's below highs of day. I don't want the S&P to get too aggressive. I need to lock my 3-4 time machine before it starts getting too frisky. IWM still pushing.
Order partially filled. Order filled.
S&P getting after it a little bit here. Hood getting close. Anybody in Hood with me? Scooby's on board. General Zod. Just need a few more cents here to hit that $2. Bitcoin trying to break out, it looks like. There's $1.99. Give me that $2. Give me that $2. There it is. Next profit target 220, which is right at the top of that high of day wick. Bitcoin coming on strong. NASDAQ trying to get through previous day high. NASDAQ's still pretty choppy compared to the other two. Coinbase through highs, through pre-market overnight highs. Coinbase up over 6% now. All the cryptos still moving. Circle going bonkers, up over 14.25%. Circle's got earnings, looks like May 11th. Got a little something special coming you guys' way. You want a little preview? It's
Order filled.
for those of you who like to trade earnings. Could be a little something. Looks great on paper. We'll see if it actually makes us money. I don't like to get too excited until I actually see the money start coming in. But here it is. It's an upgrade to Flux. All about earnings. So you're not going to see this yet, but we're going to have a little earnings tab here right next to the calendar spread IV. And so you got your earnings calendar. So for example, PLTR reports tonight. So you've got your expected move. You've got this is over the last 20 quarters. You've got the historic rate that it exceeded the expected move. So 55% of the time it exceeds the expected move over the last 20 quarters. You got the close to open historic move, the vol crush. So that's basically the at the money straddle price, how much it typically crushes after earnings. And then the adjusted move. So, and then the implied move. So it kind of gives you an idea if the options are overpriced or underpriced based on the last 20 earnings cycles. So for example, PLTR is shown about 5.1% overpriced. Let me just get HUD back on my screen so I'm keeping an eye on it on another monitor. It's pulling back a little bit. So the adjusted move is, I've got a little tooltip here. So it's the expected move realized after you take into consideration the vol crush, right? So you've got the historic kind of the move, but then you've got the huge vol crush, and so it's taking the adjusted move, including the vol crush, if that makes sense. And so then essentially the implied volatility minus the adjusted move gives you the data to see if the options are overpriced or underpriced. And if it's overpriced, obviously selling a straddle, iron condor, calendar spread, doing a calendar spread, those would be kind of at least my three main strategies. And then this is a post-earnings deal of the last 20. How many times did it gap up inside the expected move, outside the expected move? How many times did it gap down inside the expected move, outside the expected move? And then what did price do based on those four scenarios? You could see if it gapped up beyond the expected move, which it did 8 times, 88% of the time that it did that, it had an average move continuation higher of 3.9% intraday. So then I've got the historical patterns to watch. So basically it basically picks out the top 2 highest probability based on this table. So in this case, it says if the stock gaps up beyond the expected move, HUD just hit 220. If the stock gaps up beyond the expected move, historically it has continued higher by 3.9%. Consider long directional strategies the day after earnings. If the stock gaps down within the expected move, which is this one, it has continued lower by 1.6% on average. So you can consider short directional strategies on that day after earnings based on this data. Then a 20-quarter breakdown of, if it moved up or down based on the session close after earnings and based on the gap open. Then you got this graph that shows the moves. The yellow line is the expected move. The colored bar is close to close. So the close before earnings and the close after, and then the white dotted line is the gap. So you can quickly see the difference between the gap overnight and what the day finished at after earnings and how that relates to the expected move. Got some fundamentals here for you fundamental analysts. EPS, actual versus estimate, and then kind of 3 top latest news stories that you can click on and read articles about it. So pretty cool. I love it. I think just using this data as opposed to how I've been trading earnings normally looks good on paper anyway. We'll see if it really produces that cash money. McDonald's. Yeah, you can search tickers here. Oh, that's not on my list. I would have to add that one, which I should, which I can. I will, but I don't have it right now. So anyway, it's still in beta, just kind of testing it, and will be released soon. Yeah, it's not released yet, Abash. But it will be soon. Me and Claude spent a lot of time together this weekend. We're kind of becoming best friends. BFFs. Hood, still cranking. I've got, what do I have left here? I've got 6 lots left. Ticked a new high of day. Let's see if it's going to extend. Bitcoin's still staying strong. S&P hit a new high. Yeah, I don't think that would do any justice, Krish. I think I mentioned this to the Matrix in the vibe coding channel. Like, the best thing that you can do if you're interested in doing it is get on Claude and just ask it to walk you through step by step. You can literally say, I know nothing. I'm trying to create an app that does this, this, or this, and it will start from beginning to advanced or wherever you're at in your knowledge. That's the best way to do it. I've got the Pro. Yeah, I've got the Claude Pro version. And then I've also got my secret weapon. It goes by the name of Joseph T. A lot of the credit goes to Joseph T. Joseph T, if we're building a house, Joseph T would have laid the foundation, probably framed the house, and I kind of came in and put in the windows and hung some pictures. IWM popped back up towards highs again. See if we can squeeze any more out of Hood here. Hood's up almost 6%. Circle still climbing almost 15%. Amazon popped back up. It's heading through highs of day. Previous day high as well. Bitcoin still pushing. Hood has kind of paused. MSTR pushing. Now above its, not quite to pre-market high. Coinbase at highs. S&P new highs. Nasdaq still not able to break through that previous day high. Russell's raging. I don't know if you call that a rage. It's pushing. Oh, the other thing I just added to that earnings flux was that I think might be helpful is, yeah, this part right here. So what I wanted to see was after a stock exceeds the expected move in a particular quarter, is there anything specific that happens the following quarter? My thesis or theory was, okay, if the stock exceeds the previous quarter, the next quarter coming up, the options might be a little bit more juiced, right? Because we just had a huge move the last quarter. So now the options got to overprice. And so my thought was, is there any validity to the thesis that if it exceeds the previous quarter, then the next quarter it has a better chance of falling within the expected move? The reality is I've looked at a lot of stocks. The reality is some do, some don't. You know, like PLTR, for example, after an expected move in a quarter, the following quarter, it exceeds it again over half the time, 6 out of 11. So, you know, it's not a huge data set by any means, but there are something like AMD's coming up tomorrow. And so after exceeding the expected move in a quarter, the following quarter exceeds again by only 17% of the time. So one of the last 6 times it exceeded, meaning it traded within the expected move after a break out of the expected move the previous quarter. So that's kind of interesting. That kind of makes me want to, you know, so it had a big move outside the expected move lower last quarter. So I would play something within the expected move this time. Is kind of how I would look at that. So anyway, it'll be our new power hour toy for when there's earnings going on. Bitcoin's still pushing. Hood just sitting here, just below highs. JP Morgan rolling back over down towards lows. Bank's still staying fairly weak. Tried to bounce a little bit. Quite the opposite, Dark Avenger. This tool is to enable you to make your own decisions. That's the beauty of it. I'm empowering you, Dark Avenger. You don't have to be a trade copier anymore. That's the beauty of it. You could take the data and make it your own. NASDAQ finally breaking out. Hood options trading around 218. Got out of my last profit target at 220, so right there. S&P still grinding new highs. Oh yeah, S&DK, new all-time highs. Hit above 1275. Holy moly. It's coming along. I just keep getting sidetracked on some of these other things that I'm working on. It's it's got some work. I got some work to do on that one. Here's a little preview of it. Calling it the Navigation Trade Station. But you got kind of the equity curve, the calendar like TradeZilla, closed open trades, current positions, risk profiles. So it's getting there. Yeah, I'm trying to basically, because TradeZilla doesn't work for positions that you let expire. Just can't handle them correctly. It's really that's why I only use it for day trading. And then, so I'm trying to make it, I'm trying to build something that's both a TradeZilla and a option trader's assistant all in one. And then, you guys have seen me report like my monthly results where I'm like, oh, okay, here's my day trading results on TradeZilla. Here's my DC time machines on OTA. Here's my other stuff on a spreadsheet. It's just really clunky and inefficient. So the other part is just being able to have it all on one platform so I can just present my results efficiently and track them efficiently for myself. All right, Hood, you're going to need to hold here or I'm going to bounce the rest of you. My 3-4 looks like it's up about $800, $700, $800, $900. I have my transformer order at 1960. Looks like it's still about 70 or so cents away from that, though. Woo! Look at Bitcoin go. Would have liked to see a little bit more out of Hood on that move. Come on, Hood. Robinhood's more of a prediction market now. I saw the breakdown of revenue for Robinhood. The options revenue is starting to decline as a percentage, and their prediction market revenue is exploding. Which kind of makes sense because the spreads that they're charging on that are outrageous, or at least Kalshi is. All right, Hood, one more pop. Come on, little buddy, one more pop. Follow your mama. Right, SK? Hood needs to follow his mama. Bitcoin's up 2.2%. Heading back up to that overnight high. Circle up 16.5%. Woo. Hood kind of creeping back up, but not giving the push like we're getting with MSTR or Coin or Circle or Bitcoin. There was some more clarification on crypto regulation with the Clarity Act, I think over the weekend, or came out recently, maybe late last week. Nebius, new all-time highs. Need to roll up my puts in my wheel portfolio. Bitcoin just raging with volume. All right, there's a new high in Hood. Take some more off at 255. I've got 6 left. I'll take 3 off at 255. Wow. The bit is ripping. MSTR and coin ripping. Circle up 17.5%. Every time I look at it, it's up another 1 or 2%. Circle. Something seems like it came out on crypto here. Nope, Hood couldn't get it yet. All right, guys, I'm going to bail. I think if Bitcoin decides to pull back, Hood might more. It's not keeping up, so not showing any relative strength. So I'm going to bail here. Out at 239. So 2 nice winners and 1 loser. Looks like Hood a little over 1100, Microsoft 992, and MSTR minus 640. All right, all. That's a wrap for today. We will see everyone in Power Hour. Cheers.